At Sierra, discover top workout gear at incredible prices, which might lead to another discovery. Your headphones haven't been connected this whole time. Awkward. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Fergal.
And we're from Movie Smash.
Comic book movies are having a golden age right now with the MCU.
Movies based on comics aren't necessarily a new thing, but they're a big thing.
Join us every other Tuesday on Movie Smash.
We explore these movies and find some hidden gems.
Every other week, we revisit some of the best.
And some of the worst movies based on comics or graphic novels.
Was Green Lantern as bad as you remember?
Heck no!
Is Time Cop the most accurate time travel movie ever created?
Absolutely.
Was Mystery Men way ahead of its time?
Should they be revisited? Should they be forgotten?
Join us on Movie Smash and find out. Listen wherever you find your fine podcasts.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All2ReelToo. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame, Munchie, and Carta.
It's a short name this time.
Yeah.
It's only two syllables.
Yep, two
for
syllables
your
for
middle and
two
yeah,
cells.
for two brain cells. Is that all you have left?
Yep, after watching this, I'm lucky to actually have two left over. Maybe I can ask Munchie for some extra because he's apparently so powerful as a being.
Yeah, maybe you can ask for some beans.
Yeah, maybe piece of shit. But it's sorry.
No, you shouldn't you probably shouldn't ask for a piece of shit because
No. Because he would deliver it to literally. I'm sorry. This movie made me so angry. I actually felt bad during and after watching the movie. Like it actually affected my mood in like a not so great way. If anyone's ever seen this movie, the character is absolutely terrifying. Like nightmare fuel shit. Like if you watched this when you were a kid, I don't even know, man. Like you like would not sleep for like a month. So like
yes. So we're venturing back into the universe of Munchie. The Munchie
MCU.
Yeah, MCU. The Munchie
MCU.
Yes. The two movie universe. Possibly three if you consider Munchies, which is not really related, but it's kind of related. It's a horror movie that's more like Gremlins or something. So we've already covered the movie Munchie, which came out in 1992. You know, it was such a great, film, with critical acclaim that, just burst onto Hollywood and like changed the way movies were made forever. That they decided that, hey, we need to make another one and cash in on this greatness.
You got Munch on the Munchie.
Yes.
I think you know what I'm saying.
Yep. You got to take advantage of it, Just get the munch while it's hot. And he decided to come up with a movie called Munchie Strikes Back. Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense. Strikes back at what?
Exactly.
If the place is violence or like some kind of revenge. But revenge against whom? Like,
is it just because somebody was like, we need a title for a sequel and Star Wars had The Empire Strikes Back, so we'll just do that too?
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
yeah. At least Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back makes sense.
Yeah, because it does. This
Hollywood. Yeah.
It's just so fucking stupid, man. Like, so like you're saying too, it's got some of the same actors, but they're playing different characters. And it's like in the one guy, it's like he has the same revelation about anyways, I'll get into that because I don't want to ruin it.
Get into it once we get there. So this movie was directed by Jim Wynorski, who directed Munchie. As well as Little Miss Millions, Ghoulies 4, Chopping Mall, Dinosaur Island.
Wait, Chopping Mall?
Yeah.
I actually was thinking of suggesting that for one of these days.
Maybe we'll cover that. Vampirella. I'm just kind of scrolling through here. The Escort 3.
Wow.
The Bear Wench Project.
Oh my God. Really?
His most recent, he's got like it looks like he's got a lot of these like I don't know, sexploitation type movies. He's got like The Witches of Brestwick.
Oh my God. Really?
Bear Wench, the final chapter. I mean, War of the Worlds 2. That's not. Busty Cops 2.
Oh my God. Really?
The Breastford Wives. The Da
Are these
Vinci,
like softcore porn?
the Da Vinci Co-ed. I like that
Are
title.
these like softcore porn? Yeah, it's good line, but
Yeah.
are these like softcore porn movies or like?
It probably.
Wow.
He's also got Cleavage Field, which looks like
all of these are all of these have to be either softcore or just like regular pornography. He went from Munchie to
he co-directed a movie in 2009 with Andrew Stevens, who appears in this movie, called Fire from Below, which stars everybody's favorite fascist Kevin Sorbo.
Oh God, dude, it's in everything that's like B-rated or C-rated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably be getting the Kennedy Center honor soon, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of these like kind of softcore, like Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl. The last thing he directed was just recently. He's still making movies. This was in 2024. He made a movie called Dino Gator.
What? Okay.
Dino Gator.
Get it? Because it's like a half dinosaur, half alligator, probably. Yeah. All right. Cool.
And the cover has like Michael Madsen. Looks like he's in it in a cowboy hat with a gun, and he's standing in front of a big giant gator that has two bikini-clad women inside its mouth.
Okay.
Yes. This guy looks like a treasure trove of bad movies, but
no, totally. It's like
more power to him. I mean, if he's making money, yep.
I mean, if that's his niche and he's leading into it, it's like, hey, I wanted to do Citizen Kane, but maybe now I'll just do Citizen Jane or something like that. I don't know. And sorry, that was really stupid.
Citizen Lane. No.
Yes.
Citizen Lade or something. I don't know. Anyways, we'll work on that. So anyways, he wrote it. It was written by him. The movie was written by him and co-authored by R.J. Robertson, who after this only did one other. He wrote the original Munchie, but he also did one movie after this called Star Hunter. The movie stars Leslie Ann Down as Linda McClelland, Andrew Stevens, who's back as a different character, this time as Shelby Carlisle, Trenton Knight as Chris McClelland. We have Howard Hessman as the voice of Munchie, replacing Dom DeLuise from the first movie. So even Dom DeLuise probably read this script and was like, nah.
No, not doing it.
And so they were like, we'll get the guy from WKRP in Cincinnati to do it.
Yeah, sure.
We got Agnes Scrim is returning, who people know from the Phantasm movies as the tall man, as Kronos or whatever his name, Kronos or whatever. He's the like heavenly being who sends Munchie back to Earth.
For some reason.
Yeah. He was in the first movie as well. We got John Biner as Coach Elkins. I'm pretty sure John Biner was a Facebook friend of mine when I used to have Facebook.
Yeah, when he used to have Facebook, exactly. Fucking meta pieces of shit.
We got Steve Franken as Professor M.T. Graves. He was
get it.
He was in the first movie too. I can't remember who he played, but he was in the first one. Got Natanya Ross as Jennifer. Ace Mask as Mr. Poindexter, the next door neighbor. He was also in the first movie as the principal. Yeah.
So
and a bunch of other people.
Right.
Corey
so it's like
and his Brett. Yeah. But,
okay.
Yeah. But anyways.
I'm just wondering because if it's like supposed to be like a sequel, but you got the same actors playing different characters.
Yeah.
And like, so everything's like new all over again. But I got a theory, actually. I'll talk about it later because I'm very excited about it, actually. But I want to save it for the perfect time, though. Because I think it adds up. I really do think it's a good. I just came up with it like right before we started recording. But
So,
But I think it.
yeah. So here's the Internet Movie Database short synopsis for this movie. Magical Munchie faces his last chance to avoid exile to a boring constellation. On Earth with the McClelland family, he tries to behave while helping solve their problems, but can't resist causing some trouble.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So initial reactions, which I'm pretty sure I can guess, to this movie.
Hated it. No, I think it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Really, genuinely, I think it's horrible. I don't like Munchie. I think he's a creepy little dude. He looks fucking weird. I don't know why they made him looking like that, because it's just like, even as an adult, if I saw that thing, I probably would just run away for dear life. I would not approach it.
I don't mean to be crass here, but he looks like a ball sack with ears, and
That's good. Yeah, it's a good description. It's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, oh my God.
and big eyes.
You got, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, Jesus, why? Like, whatever. I'm not even gonna get into it. It's just like sad almost that. See, the thing is too, it's like, what gets me is, it's like, why have the same actors play different characters? Because then you're just like redoing the first movie. Then why not just hire new actors to play the new parts of people? I mean, like, I just don't. Whatever. Maybe because of budget thing or something.
I have a feeling it's like budget things, or just he's friends with these people and he works well with them, so he figured, hey, you know.
I guess. But I can't wait to tell my theory later on, because I think it's really popping. I really do.
Popping fresh theories. Anyways,
Popping fresh. There you go. That's a good one. I like that. Write that one down. All right. Yeah.
yes. So what goes on in this?
Yeah. Good segue. Oh, by the way, I just thought all two Poppins. We could all we do is review Mary Poppins, just talk about that movie. No, I don't like that movie that much. I wouldn't want to do that, but
We talk about Mary Poppins Returns, and Saving Mr. Banks, which is about the making of Mary Poppins.
yeah, there you go. And we'll just do like one line by line. No, I'm kidding.
Which, by the way, is a really good movie.
It like the making of?
Yeah, it's about Tom Hanks plays Walt Disney, and it's about P.L. Travers and Disney's relationship while they were making the movie, and how she basically hated the movie. She was the one that wrote it, and then it goes back to her childhood and stuff like that, where Colin Farrell plays her dad, and honestly, the best performance in the whole movie is Colin Farrell.
Wow.
I watched that and I was like, dude, he needs an Oscar for this movie, but it just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't the thing, but it's a really good movie. It was released by Disney, so it's sanitized. The story is not really completely fully believable. Maybe we'll do a classic All Too Real and cover that sometime.
Classical. Yeah, classic. So anyway, so what happens in this movie is, it looks like in the beginning that it's the kid from the first movie, and he's like a little bit older now, or is that just a completely different kid altogether?
It's the kid from the first movie.
Okay.
And he's like 2 years older, obviously, but yeah.
But he's like a teen now and stuff, teenager, and so not even 2 minutes in, I really want to talk about this, because there's several crimes being committed throughout this movie. Some quite severe, actually. Other ones maybe petty. So like not even 2 minutes in, I think it was about minute 45, Munchie commits the egregious act of terror in a public school, bombing, more specifically, and I mean like a big bomb, like not just some regular, like we got military grade shit that he got his hands on. Like
school. What the?
He blows up the school, so that's already like a double crime, because you've already bombed something, but you bombed a government, essentially a government-owned building, or at least a government subsidized building.
Yeah.
And then he was saying, let's hit the DMV, another state government. It's like, dude, you're going to jail for like your life for this, like for this two crimes that you're about to commit. And it's like, someone could have gotten severely hurt or killed in that explosion. How did he know there wasn't like someone like who's going to the bathroom at that time? It was, not in the dance hall, and just ends up getting just blown to smithereens because Munchie wants to impress his friend.
I have learned from recent history, though, you can do damage to a federal or public building, and then later get pardoned by the president of the United States. So it's all okay.
And then immediately get into a shootout with a police officer and get killed during said shootout.
Actually, totally off topic. There's a podcast called Weird Little Guys by Cool Zone Media, the producers of Behind the Bastards. They did an episode about that guy, and it's really interesting. I mean,
I bet you did.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously not a good guy, but it was also he didn't really do a lot of bad stuff the day of January 6th. So.
That's hilarious. He's like the one guy who wasn't like as crazy as the other.
He actually during that day at one point, I mean, he pled guilty and everything and was, convicted or whatever, but it's like there's video of him telling people to go upstairs because he had figured it. You can literally see like the look on his face, I guess, where he's kind of like figuring out that the Congress people were probably in the basement, so he was sending the violent people upstairs away from them.
Oh wow, okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
But I mean, he was still a piece of crap. But anyway, so
yeah, I mean so Munchie apparently would have been one of these pardoned people, but this is before our time. And again, you got.
That's an upcoming Munchie movie. Munchie
storms. Yes, Munchie storms the Capitol. That's the third and final movie of the Munchie, the MCU, or the other MCU.
Yes.
And so this explosion was huge. I mean, you gotta watch it on YouTube or something. It was quite concerning. And then within the first 5 minutes, so we got the act of terror. Public school. That's multiple felonies, probably already spending life in prison for that alone. Then the intent to bomb the DMV. Yes, didn't go through with it, but the intent was there, which I'm pretty sure that also probably taxed on some extra years just for that. And then within like 5 minutes of the movie, we get our boy Andrew Stevens playing a different character who dresses and looks the exact same way as the old character does, also has a similar personality, except for in this one, he's like a really successful businessman, whereas the first one, he was like a coach or something. Yeah. And in that one, he was going to be the kid's stepfather. In this one, no, he wanted to just cut the middleman out and just like try to sexually assault the kid's mom, like at work, just like without even like proposal. Because the first one, he was at least putting some effort. He's putting on some nice music, making a nice dinner. He was trying to really, make it romantic. This time, he's like, no, I want to fuck you. Who cares about any? So his character has devolved in many ways.
Yeah, and this character's married and has kids and everything, and he's still like he's sexually harassing all the women at work.
That's right, not just her; it was everyone. Yeah.
Prior to this happening, so Munchie gets taken up to heaven from the
just bombed
from the school because and Kronos is like presides over this celestial court in heaven, and which the court like includes Colonel Sanders and Marilyn Monroe and Elvis Presley
for some reason,
and Cleopatra.
I guess I don't know why, but yeah.
Yes.
Why would Cleopatra have any connection with Colonel Sanders? I mean, like, it's just what?
Yes, it's like
I don't get it.
I'm just curious.
Oh, you're all good.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that scene from the Second Chance where they're like waiting to go to heaven or hell.
Yeah. It did remind me a lot of that. I was just curious. I was trying to remember when Colonel Sanders died. He was 90 years old and died in 1980. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this movie was 94, right?
Yeah, he was dead. I was just making sure because sometimes I get times like confused and I was like, was he dead by then? And I was like, that'd be even funnier if he wasn't dead and they had him in this.
Yeah. No, it was... I don't know. No. Of course, he was eating a piece of chicken to like, get it, Colonel Sanders, get it. You wouldn't know without him eating chicken, right? No, I knew by the way he was dressed. Yes, I knew all of them. I knew Elvis Presley. I knew the Marilyn Monroe. I knew the Cleopatra. You didn't need to like, whatever.
Yeah. He was they blame Munchie for a number of historical like catastrophes and stuff, including the sinking of the Atlantis, the city of Atlanta.
That's awesome. Good.
The crash of the Hindenburg, the cataclysm of Mount Vesuvius, the meltdown of Chernobyl, as well. Those are the ones
Wow, this guy's violent Munchie, dude.
yeah. So I guess
He's out there.
blowing up a school isn't quite as bad as Chernobyl.
No, this guy's out there creating environmental catastrophes all over the place. Radiation spilling out all over Russia to the point where there's certain places you can't even live in that city anymore. That city's sealed off, man. You cannot go there legally.
I mean, him blowing up a school is just a footnote. I mean, it's not even.
It was him cutting back on the violence a little bit. He's like, okay, I've already done a lot of crazy shit. Maybe I'll just bomb a public school right now.
Yes.
That way I could sort of satiate my urge to, be violent towards humanity. Whilst I'm supposed to be helping humanity at the same time, but yet, which doesn't make any sense because later on in the movie, this movie is self-contradictory. So, why wouldn't it be? It's a Munchie. And later on, when the guy's talking, the bad guy's talking to his history dude or whatever, he's like, so Munchie was from a race of non-human people that had magical powers, and they were behind all the great civilizations and stuff. But it's okay, but they all died, and Munchie was the only one left. Wait a minute. So Munchie's the only one left, which implies that either A, he just had some very, very good luck, which I guess is possible, or he's supposed to be the best of them, and then that's the reason why he survived. But
yet he's
if
still.
they're all, yeah.
Yeah, I was say, yet he's still responsible for the meltdown of Chernobyl and the Hindenburg crash and stuff.
It's sinking Atlantis, the mythical city that apparently existed but now doesn't. And so now in the MCU, the Munchie cinematic universe, Atlantis is canon. It's part of that. So so think about this. Really think about that for a moment. Just dwell on that for a second. You're in a world where Atlantis is canon. It existed at some point. It was a real city. It's not anymore, but it did at some point exist. And we're just supposed to sit with that and just think that's normal.
See, I think Atlantis still exists, and it's just Atlanta, and people have been spelling it wrong. No, I'm sorry.
It could. Atlanta might eventually go into the sea at some point. So maybe, I don't know, but no. I don't think it would be up that far. But
yes.
So I don't know. The first movie, he was in a treasure case or something. The guy threw him into a hole.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was literally trying to get rid of him. So he locked him into a treasure chest and threw him down what looked like a endless hole that turned out to be some kind of I don't know, mine or something. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So this just goes to show you how bad Munchie is at his job, that he's supposed to grant people wishes, but he's so terrible at it that the person's willing to just chuck them into a hole.
And it's I don't even know if him granting wishes is part of his job as much as it is just something he can do.
I see. Maybe he's not a genie so much. Just that it's that's the other thing too. So several crimes are we've got terrorism, we got intent for terrorism, all Munchies. I'm not even going to mention the other people's crimes.
Yeah.
All Munchies. And then theft is a big one, because it turns out that whenever anyone asks Munchie for something, he doesn't just produce it, he steals it from other people and then gives it to the...
Yeah, I got a note about that later. But
okay.
I'll get to it when we get to that part of the movie.
Okay.
So Munchie is sent for unknown reasons at the beginning to go help this McClelland family, who the dad had died recently, and then the mom ends up losing her job because she doesn't want to move to New Mexico or Mexico City, Mexico. I don't know if it was where it was, but no, yeah, it was Mexico City. She doesn't want to move there and get raped every day by her boss.
Plus, too, he was saying a week from now. I'm like, dude, what? Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm gonna pack up my whole life, including my kid, and then move to Mexico City in a week's time. What?
Oh, well,
okay.
I mean, to be fair, the way the American government's been operating lately, they've decided to make all the people that were working from home go back to work, and then they're placing them because they don't have enough places to put these people that have been working at home for years. They don't have enough office space for them. So they're telling them that they have to go to certain places, which might not be anywhere near where they live. And then they'll tell them that they have to go back to work like a week or two from now.
Yeah, that's just so fucking.
I saw this
Dystopian.
poor girl on TikTok complaining about it. She's just like, I've been working at home doing my computer job for 4 years for, I don't know what governmental thing she's working at, but she's just like, yeah, now they want me to go into the office somewhere that's like an hour and a half or something from where she lives. It's just like,
You know what's sorry.
Yeah.
You know what's really fucked up about that is that everything that like America has said about like communism, like capitalism has actually done, like the fear. So like I remember there was when you said that, I was instantly remembered there was an old anti-communist propaganda leaflet or poster from like the 1950s where it's like, what if America turned communist? And then it shows like this guy, he's like standing behind a desk, and the guy's like, you have been assigned to factory 207 in Minnesota, Wisconsin. And he's like, but sir, I live like in Ohio. It's like, well, you on the job, so that's what it is. They're like, you see, in communism, you don't get to decide what your job you do or where you do it. Now it's like, by the way, you better move 500 miles from home to do it. It's just like, what? Okay, like you guys just proved your own point that you guys do the things that you fearmonger other people might do.
that's the way it is. Hypocrisy.
That's the way it
is for you and me.
But if Munchie were real, I could ask him to like, hey, can you like deal with this problem a little bit?
So-
he fuck it up, but you know, he tried.
Unlike the first movie where the kid finds Munchie, this one Munchie just shows up.
Yeah, he just shows up this time because that's his new mission, was to help out. And wasn't that kid also the same actor from the first movie as well?
No,
it's not. Okay, whatever.
no, he's a different kid, because remember the other kid was at the beginning of the movie.
No, I know he's just a little bit older. Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know.
Yeah.
This kid reminds me of someone. I don't know who.
Yeah, I mean it's basically a copy and paste character, but
yeah, pretty much it's the same. You always got the dead dad in all these movies.
yeah,
All these movies, almost every single one of them has this.
yeah. I don't know if the dad was dead in the first one or divorced or what it was, but still, it was.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
can't
So what
remember.
else happens? Because I'm kind of forgetting shit here.
So he shows up, and it's like he's in the room, and he's basically kind of starts to show off and tell the kid that he can help him out. And the kid's the first thing the kid says to him is like, "Can you bring back my dad?"
Oh my god, I know. It's like so sad.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
It's like, no, can't really do that. I'm like, okay, well,
Yeah.
fuck you. You said we could do anything, so you
I,
lied.
I still don't understand the rules of Munchie's magic, though. So I'm just like, okay. But
I don't think there are any rules. I think it's just completely chaos magic at this point.
so first he asks him for this like video game thing, like 40-inch monitor that is like a racing game sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Munchie gives it to him, and then they go inside the game, and he's like, the kids, they're like a plane bombing them and stuff, and he's almost killing the kid. Like, what the fuck? So then they get back, and here's some actual dialogue from the movie. The kid says, "Could you like get me other things? Anything I want?" Then Munchie says, "Sure. So you're Donald Trump, okay?"
Yep, prophecy.
I'm pretty sure the way that Donald Trump has gotten away with everything is the fact that he has Munchie. But
No, seriously, he
Yes.
might have like his own Munchie somewhere.
it's like,
Probably locked in a cage, and
"Hey, Munchie, can you help me get away with an insurrection?"
yes, he can. He will. And he has already done so to other people.
Half the country think it's okay to deport a bunch of innocent people. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
he's right on there. Okay.
you somehow make it cool that I take away the rights of women and trans people. Yeah, cool. But
Yeah, I mean, why not? Just do it.
yeah,
It's so
can you make
stupid.
it so I can just blame everything on DEI and get away with it? Yeah, cool.
No, because Munson seems like he's kind of a nice guy, though.
Yeah,
And
so-
like, it seems like he has more autonomy than like a genie does, like where he
Yeah.
just sort of like someone if he wants to. So
I think Munchie would not let Donald Trump get away with a lot of the things.
No,
So,
but our Munchie.
but I will tell you, Munchie is a lot more handsome than Donald Trump.
It's true. True.
He somehow looks more human.
I know.
So after that, the kid like wishes for all this shit, like from everywhere, and we're finding out throughout this that the stuff is coming from the mall, like. Because I'm in the first movie, like the kid wished for a pizza, and we actually saw the scene where the pizza like flies from an Italian restaurant to the kid's home.
Yeah, I remember that.
And the chef is chasing it with a cleaver, which I'm like, what are you gonna do? Anyways, so
I know, weird.
so he's just like stealing stuff basically and putting it in the kid's bedroom and stuff, in Chris's bedroom. And so there's another bit of dialogue here that I wrote down. Munchie says, so basically the kid says, because the mom's coming in, he's like, you got to get rid of all this stuff. And Munchie says, I only know of one way that gets rid of everything you own. The kid's like, what's that? And Munchie says, Reaganomics.
Yeah. There's lots of political stuff in this
I know.
movie. It's like very odd, you know?
Yes. So he says
no.
Reaganomics and everything disappears and goes back to the mall, I'm assuming, because he says stuff like, it's gonna, mess with their inventory or something. It's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because they fucking don't have it, and now it just shows up all over again. So thanks, Munchie. Now you fucked up someone's work day.
So at this point, and from the first movie, we're led to believe that he can't create anything. So I'm gonna come back to that later.
Yeah.
So what goes on after that?
So the bad guy, what's his name? Carlisle, something like that.
Yeah, Shelby Carlisle.
Shelby Carlisle, great name. He's also a baseball coach, and he coaches the opposite team that Chris is on. And he's like one of these like really hard ass coaches who just wants to win about people like having a good time.
You know what the name of the other team is?
No.
On their shirts, it says the Hillside Stranglers.
Whoa. So this guy is like a sociopath, like a murderer or something. And
because, the Hillside Strangler is like...
That sounds like a group of serial killers, like friends or brothers or something like that. Watch out for the Hillside Stranglers documentary tonight at 8 p.m.
Yeah, it's like... it's Kenneth Bianchi the duo of Kenneth Bianchi and Angelo Bruno, who terrorized women in Los Angeles between 1977 and February of 78.
Oh wow, that's great.
So yeah, there were several active serial killers. All of the things were attributed to the Hillside Strangler, and there was at least 2 of them. So it's like, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. I was just joking. I didn't realize that was an actual thing. Wow. Yeah. So he names his team after a serial killer, which I guess is an interesting thing to do. And then why would you do that? It seems like there's something very wrong with you mentally. This goes like my theory later.
It's like the other teams that they play are like the Zodiac Killer and the Boston Strangler. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's so like, that goes into my theory for later, actually, about this whole thing, because I didn't remember the name of the team, but it's so Chris, he's not that great at playing, but he's all right. But the pitcher is always making fun of him for not playing well. He's like some rich kid, some rich brat, always gets all these cool fancy toys.
Named
Chris,
named Brett, which is
Brett. Yeah, perfect name for him. I'm not sorry, it's not. I don't know. There's lots of good Bretts, but. So Chris has a crush on his next door neighbor named Jennifer. She plays first base, and he's always like has this like inferiority complex because he thinks that Jennifer likes Brett, and that Brett can buy all this fancy stuff.
Yeah,
and so he's kind of jealous, seeing them together, because he just kind of assumes that like they're dating, I guess, but like that was never really confirmed, but that's just assumption. And so what's that?
They're like 12.
What's that? Well,
I was gonna say they're like 12. So like, what this dating stuff?
Weird. Some people date they're 12. I don't know.
I dated a girl for like 8 minutes when I was 12. But yeah, that's
I just say it happens. I'm not. I mean, I don't know. And so like, he's all like, maybe he's thinking of like, becoming one of the stranglers and like kills Brett or something like that, so he can be with Jennifer. I don't know. But so like one of the things he asked Munchie, there's like a million things he asked him. I don't remember now because there's just so many weird things in this movie.
Yeah.
So he asked Munchie to help him win the base. No, actually Munchie just offers that for free on his own. Like he doesn't even he's just like, I'll help you all, dude. Like
see, this isn't always like a wish situation. This isn't like,
right.
Aladdin where you have to make the wish. It's like you don't have to say like I wish that this happens. It's just like Munchie kind of observes the situation. Is like, oh, I can help this kid out if I do this. So
yeah, that's what I was saying before. Is that like he has like more autonomy than like your typical genie does.
Mhm.
Like he's his own person. I mean, theoretically, he could just leave you too. Like, I mean, there's no like nothing holding him there except for now because now he has to help this particular person. But
and so far, by the logic of what we've learned from his magic, is he's not really a genie that just creates things. He's a thief. So
yeah, he's a thief and a plunderer who just takes things somewhere else and then just presents that to Chris, which is not the same thing as giving it to him. The other thing too is like Chris is kind of a moron as well, though, because it's like because there's a scene where his mom kind of snapped at him because she just lost her job, so she's not in a great mood. And she told him to clean his room because the room was really messy. And so Munchie pretty much just cleaned it all at once. Then she came in her room and wanted to apologize to him for how she acted. And then she's like, oh my God, how the room gets so clean. Like, oh no, whatever. So then like she hugs him and she goes to bed or whatever. And then so I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, so your mom told you to clean your room and you did. So now the room looks spotless. But you just asked Munchie to like bring like one of the biggest like home arcade systems I've ever seen in my life. Probably at that point would have costed a good $5,000 or $10,000 in 1994 money. And like your mom's not going to be suspicious just seeing this huge like video game system that you obviously could not afford.
She never saw
either
out of the room before she ever entered. So
I know, but like if he would have fucked up and like because he woke up and like if she had not woken him up by telling him like breakfast might be ready soon, like without opening the door, she would have opened that door and saw like all kinds of contraband all over the place, and she'd be like, "What the hell did you do? And how did this get up in your room without me hearing anything? Because it's upstairs, so you'd have to."
Did you
either?
Yeah. Did you
airlift it?
But she doesn't question how fast the room got clean either. It's like
no, she doesn't.
People in these movies are stupid. So
they don't ask any important questions. They're just so happy to have Munchie do things for them, but they never really think about where the stuff's coming from, why he acts so weird.
He exists, so it's like Chris somehow cleaned the room in like 30 seconds. It's like.
And like you could tell it was actually clean, like he wasn't just moving shit around, like hiding it under his bed, or any of that stuff. Like he was, and so I don't know. So she's stressed out because she.
I will tell you, I worked on the crew for a production of The Odd Couple, starring Jamie Farr and William Christopher from MASH, and me and two other people actually cleaned the apartment in like a minute in between scenes because it was supposed to be that Felix cleaned the whole apartment. And we did it in like a minute, but obviously they had everything placed in certain ways that you could easily move it all. So it was,
I mean, yeah, true. And so I don't know, man. Munchie basically helps him win the game. Well, two things contribute to him to winning the game. So, Carlisle's son loses the game on purpose, kind of, because his dad's really pissed him off by telling them to do all these. Like he wanted so. The first thing his dad, Carl, this is how the hillside strangler operates in his own mind. He tells his son, a impressionable young boy who, needs a lot of fatherly guidance. And then he teaches them to do something horrible as intentionally hitting the pitcher with as strong of a hit of the bat he can so that he could permanently injure him so he won't play anymore. So this is what the guy's sadistic. He's a sadist, really. I mean, who does that? Who tells your 12-year-old kid, I want you to potentially permanently injure this other kid for the rest of his life?
Sadly, I think there's a lot more people that do shit like that than, these like macho dads that, are trying to relive their childhood through their kid and have no concern for other people because the lack of empathy exists in this world anymore.
It's the golden it's like the golden age. I mean the golden year, the golden days of like when things were great. And it's like, okay, was your dad doing it to you? No. I'm like, oh, okay. So you got to have like great glory days. Now when you're a dad, you're gonna be like, no, I'm gonna take away.
Or in a lot of cases, their dad was doing that to them and beating them on the side and stuff. And so, maybe they're not beating their kid, but they're telling their kid to, beat other kids,
and to harm them through severe athletic injury.
I also wanted to bring up something too about this baseball game. So there's like this music playing that is like completely almost like legally able to be sued, knockoff of John Fogerty's Center Field song.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
The music in it, it's like a stupid song, like, it's like, oh, we play baseball, blah blah blah, but it was like it was like the Timu version of Center Field. It's like
it's like, put me in, athletic teacher, put me in the sparring match today or something like that. Very like generic version.
But some of the music sounded just like the beginning of Center Field, like the music of it. I don't want to hum any of it because I don't want to get sued, but so.
Dude, exactly. No, it's like, and so like they win the game because
I know. Okay, just a little thing. I know every single word and note of Center Field memorized in my head because I worked at the Toledo Mud Hens baseball stadium from when I was 9 until I was, in my 20s. Every summer, and they would play that before or during every fucking game.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's so like he's kind of pissed off. So like his dad wants him to walk Chris when his turn to bat, but then he decides not to walk him. He just wants to pitch to him, and then lo and behold, Chris hits a home run that apparently goes into space.
Yes.
So hold on a sec. This is important for the lore here. So Munchie apparently has the power to have a baseball fly through space and circling around the earth. That's the power level we have of Munchie here. So this is not some small creature here. This is someone who, I mean, we've already seen these bombed school buildings and Chernobyl meltdown and stuff. So.
And somehow this baseball leaves the atmosphere and doesn't get damaged at all while it's in space and going all around the world, because I'm pretty sure that it would.
No, now with Munchie involved, Munchie has a way to prevent that. So Chris immediately becomes like so super arrogant because he hit one home run and is like trying to like impress Jennifer by asking her to get.
He also pitched too. He because the other kid got hurt. So he hit her at one point, and the ball is going all over the place. And when the ball was like going like all wiggly up and down and everything, so nobody could hit it and everything, and they would get strikes. And then like one point they're like strike 2, strike 3, strike 4, strike 8. It's just
like, wait a minute, how do we have that many strikes? And
the moment that happened, I texted you when I was watching it, and I said, I hate this movie.
Yeah, exactly. I hate this movie. It's terrible. It makes me so angry. And so like Jennifer calls him up right in the middle of his mom like crying about all the terrible shit's going on, and she's like, hey, Brett's parents won't let him come to the dance. They want him to rest now, so do you want to go to the dance with me? He's like, yeah, okay. Mind you, I need this to people to know this. They live right next door to each other, literally next door neighbors. And for some reason, Munchie gets the idea, I'm gonna have a limousine. I'm going to turn your car or someone's car in. So apparently Munchie also has the ability of transformation. Like
that's where I was coming into this. Okay. He was able to turn a station wagon into a limousine. Every other time he stole something. Why didn't he steal a limousine to make the magic consistent? No, somehow now he can do what they reference Cinderella. Yes, kid, have you seen Cinderella? He's like, yeah, we rented it one time or something. It's like,
yeah.
Call me.
But Transfiguration is now a list.
The second most famous Disney cartoon of all time. Like, I'm sorry, but
yeah. Well, I mean, that's like that goes back to what I was saying. I think chaos magic is his thing. Like, it's not. There's no consistency. It's like he'll have to steal shit from the mall so a kid could play like a tricked out video game machine that's really just unnecessary.
Why couldn't he just, if he can turn a station wagon into a limousine, why couldn't he just like, turn one of Chris's other toys into that video game system?
It's again chaos magic. Munchie is like what you see is what you get sometimes with them. So then, but he also transforms himself into the limo driver, right?
Yes, into a human.
So now that's a new power that's just been released that we didn't know about in the MCU. That Munchie is now skilled in transfiguration. But what he's not skilled in is dubbing audio with the mouth movements. Not so he's not.
Yeah, it's not quite great. But my thing too with this is, so he chooses to look like that.
Yes. Yeah.
When that
was his choice.
When he could look like a normal, like relatively handsome human man. So it's,
yes. So yeah, we need you to really understand this. Munchie looks this way intentionally. He's like, you know what? I could just look like a normal human man and not frighten anyone, or I could look like this freak of nature. And you know what? I'm gonna go with that one because it's so much easier, right? Because that way, when people see you, they'll know that there's something fucked up. But if they see you as a human man, they won't think there's anything wrong with the situation. So
like all these other times where he's out in public, where he could easily be seen, and he is seen by Carlisle a lot. It's like, why doesn't he just masquerade himself as this normal dude most of the time? I'm just like,
and so they go to this dance, and again too, like they said, something like the school's close enough for them to walk to the dance. So there's no point. Like, think about it, your limousine ride is going to be what, like 2 minutes tops. Then if you know what I mean, like what can you do within those 2 minutes? Like, hi, you look nice tonight. Thanks, you do too. Would you like a drink? Sure. Oh, here we are. Like, it's just like you can't even finish your grape soda, which for some reason there's a big thing about. Ooh, grape soda is really refreshing. Like, really, I hate grape soda, but that's a whatever. That's
like,
just my.
It's like, it reminds me of the song "If I Had $1 Million" by the Bare Naked Ladies, where they say, if I had $1 million, we wouldn't have to walk to the store. If I had $1 million, no, we'd take a limousine because it costs more.
Right. Well, that's what it's about. So, because again, like, Chris already thinks he's like the second Donald Trump, or like a young, like he's wearing a fucking tuxedo with a bow tie. Already, I want to just beat him to death because it's such a, well, that was kind of really extreme.
He looks perfectly fine. He looked perfectly fine in this like tweed jacket that he had on earlier. And
instead they give
looked better than all of the other kids at the dance in that, but Munchie puts him in like a James Bond outfit with a Rolex. It's like,
and so like, yeah, he's sitting there trying to act like Brett because he thinks that that's what Jennifer wants, which again, rookie mistake number one, never try to act like someone else when you don't have that personality, and don't assume that the person who asked you out on a date, that she wants you to act like another person when she asked you. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense at all. Like, why? Oh, you know what? It's like, hey, if someone's like, hey, Matt, you want to go out sometime? I go, okay, cool. Oh, no, I got to make sure I act like, whatever, freaking Elon Musk or some shit. Oh, God, I hate that. Like, and it's like, well, no, I asked you to go out on a date because I like your personality. I didn't want you to do Elon Musk impersonations or whatever.
And it's also good advice, to always remember, be yourself. I mean, you can always improve who you are, like not necessarily, but still stay true to who you are. Like you can, if you have bad habits, you can overcome them and stuff like that. But it's another thing too. Like a lot of times people will get into a relationship where you want to, I don't know, improve your partner, like your your girlfriend or non-binary pal.
No, totally.
You want to you want to like take them and mold them into the perfect guy or girl or whatever that you want them to be. But it's, I've been in relationships like that where somebody's tried to, basically tell me that, oh, you've got to, I want you to act like this. And it's like, don't have a sense of humor all the time. And it's just like, but that's who I am.
Right.
It's like, I can't.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
That, Yeah.
Right. So she's sitting there getting actually really pissed at him for like acting like Brett. Like, so she's like actively like not liking this. Like, oh, I thought you were like cute and funny and stuff, and now you're just acting like Brett. And he's like, was that what you wanted? I'm like, no, that again, because you're a moron. Like, and so, this is the crime number, I don't know, 70 so far of Munchie. So again, we got terrorism, multiple acts of terrorism in a tent. We have theft, plundering. So, and a lot of theft apparently, it seems like
Sexual harassment.
What's that?
Sexual harassment by a different character, but still, yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking about Munchie's crimes right now, but yeah, no, totally Carlisle's. But so now I think the next crime that Munchie commits is probably worse than the terrorism, the thievery, all this combined, because, and again, this is Munchie's idea himself. Chris didn't ask for it. Munchie, with his own brain, came up with this himself, and is like, oh, people act like they like you, but you never know like what people actually think. So I'm going to give you the ability to read people's minds. So that's a huge invasion of privacy. I mean, there's no way to cut that any other way. I mean, we're talking severe invasion of privacy.
It's like a mini scene where it's like that. What was that? That Mel Gibson movie where he could like hear the thoughts of women.
What women want.
Yeah, what women want. It was like it was like a little scene like that, except for he could hear what everybody wants, not just what women want, you know. So
right, but that movie too is even creepier because he's sitting there like listening into like the sexual thoughts of women and like trying to then like mold himself into that person, which again, very Munchie like type of idea right here, so that he could then have sex with them. Total invasion of privacy, like the worst kind.
When I would stay at my mom's, and this was like, you know, before the Netflix and the internet and all that stuff. When I was younger, she had like a VHS that she had taped some movies onto, and that was one of them. And so was Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson. I think there was like, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that movie. I mean, I don't like Mel Gibson, but it's a good movie. I mean, the thing is I don't like Gibson, but I can fully admit that he was a good actor. So, but unlike Kevin Sorbo, but But yeah, I used to fall asleep every night watching those two movies.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, that movie, it like, yeah, Munchie did this technically to teach Chris a lesson, but like you can teach someone a lesson without invading other people's privacy. Like, you know what I mean? Like Munchie doesn't have to be like, oh, do you want to understand like human anatomy? I'm just gonna let you go into like a locker room and just like see people undressed. It's like, dude, I'll make you invisible too, so no one knows you're there. I'm like, no, that's voyeurism. That's like another crime. So right there, we got plus two. In the first Munchie, there was a scene where he was in the locker room, right?
I was gonna say, but knowing Munchie, if he says, the kid says, yeah, I want to know what a naked woman looks like, he would just like bring one to him.
Exactly. He would just like take. So then we got kidnapping. That's abduction. So that's another crime. But severe crime actually.
Another thing at this dance, the band playing is the same band from the first Munchie movie.
And they were also the band that was playing in the beginning of the movie when Sewell got bombed as well.
My theory is that there's only one band in the Munchie universe.
I've got lots of theories cooking up too about the Munchie verse. It's not, none of it's pretty, none of it's good. I'm starting to think this is, anyways, I can't wait to get to my theory because I think it's going to tie it all together. But I forgot. Talk about the grave guy when he visits this guy's.
So before that, we have a scene where that's after that. So he goes to visit this professor who's named M.T. Graves. I'm going to say that again, M.T. Graves. He's like a professor, and he's at this like magic shop or something. I don't know what the hell it was. I wasn't even sure. But he somehow he talks about how he wanted to get a poison dagger when he was in the 3rd grade, and Graves remembers this, and I'm like, there's no way that Carlisle looks exactly like he did when he was in the 3rd grade now when he's like 45 or whatever. So it's just like,
well, maybe this guy's got his own psychic powers, and so he's like, oh yeah, I remember you. Or maybe just because of how psychotic he looked even back then, that he can just like recognize that look like within a person's face, like even if he doesn't look the same way, he could just see that like sort of manic, like think about it. Again. So crime number 80. So like now we got Carlisle's crime. So he names his team the Hillside Stranglers. named after actual serial killers in California, which is kind of weird. If I had a baseball team, I wouldn't call myself like the Ted Bundy chokers or something like that. It's like, it's like
my my favorite team, got this football team named Jack the Rippers.
yeah, Jack the Rippers or the Jeffrey Dahmer hot dogs or so. I don't know, whatever. I can't think of anything, but
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's like I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like this guy is like a total psychotic. That even in the 3rd grade, he wanted to murder one of his teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, like
the reason he's there though is he got like the guy to like show him this book about the history of Munchie and the Munchies or whatever, so
the Munchie verse, yeah.
But after that, then we have so there was a situation where they might lose the house because Mrs. McClelland, Linda got fired because she didn't want to be sexually harassed.
Yep.
So
there you go. That's Trump's world right there too. He's like, hey, just fire her,
Yeah. There's so she needed money to save the house. She made it like $25,000 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And so she looks out the window and a bunch of money is falling down and she's like, is that snow?
Nick, nope, it's not snow.
I'm sorry, but if I saw money falling from the sky, my first reaction wouldn't be, is that snow? Because snow are these little, white specks that fall from the sky.
Yeah.
Not like, inches long pieces of paper. I'm just saying.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. So like from the sky, all this money falls, and it's surprisingly the exact amount of money she needs to save the house.
Isn't that interesting? Oh, it's the exact same amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's on TV talking about it and everything, but then this dude pulls up from who's he works for the it was the FBI or something.
No, Treasury something.
Treasury Department or something. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
The Treasury Department. Before it was invaded by anyways. So
yeah.
So he comes up and just basically says that these are the serial numbers on these bills are not real serial numbers, and it turns out that this was like some money from these forgers who were flying above the house, and they threw the money out of the helicopter or plane or whatever, and it landed on the McClelland's yard. So yeah,
but Munchie did that. So Munchie is now stealing from people who stole or forged money.
So he's not even giving the McClelland's real money. He's giving them counterfeit money. So
yeah, so thank you for that, Munchie. Now you got federal crimes being levied against this poor woman. Like,
I mean,
come on.
If they wouldn't have been on TV and this guy didn't see them, and he wasn't such a nice guy that works for the Treasury Department, they could be in prison. It's like,
yeah, no, seriously. So thank you, Munchie, for that, I guess.
So it turns out, like later on, she gets offered a job at the Treasury Department from this dude.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, just come in and just fill out an application.
He's kind of like, you can tell he's kind of got a thing for her. So, he's like, so, maybe, Chris has got a new stepdad here. Yeah.
Maybe. But it reminds me too. So like in one scene, was this later or was this around the same time where he reveals that he had like his own Munchie when he was like a kid?
Yeah.
Like his own. So what was that all about? There was never no explanation about that. So
this guy does have my favorite line in the movie though.
Oh yeah. What's that?
At one point, I can't remember what the mom said to him, but his response to her is like, I work for the government, ma'am. I'm not paid to think.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that.
Yeah. So,
oh God. What happens after that then?
So then, while they're gone, at the police department or the Treasury Department or wherever the fuck they went, Carlisle comes in and he tries to steal Munchie, and there's this whole like mini Home Alone segment. Like it's basically like Home Alone.
Yeah.
Because like Munchie's like, putting marbles on the ground and hitting the guy in the head and making his hand catch on fire and all this other shit. It's just like basically
so
like
derivative.
Yeah, it's completely derivative of Home Alone. What year did Home Alone come out?
Home Alone came out, I think, in 1990.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
And But
Yeah,
was this the same thing that happened to Carlisle in the first movie? I mean, he had a different name in the first movie, but like the same shit going on in the kitchen. Like
Andrew Stevens' character, I don't think the kitchen stuff happened, but I do know that he tried to steal, and then there was a car chase and everything, and now we have another car chase in this movie too.
I can't wait to give my theory because it's going to be so awesome. Okay, go ahead.
So he ends up knocking Munchie out with some potatoes, and
Well, how would that have anything to do? It's about kryptonite. So potatoes are like a thing that stops them. Like
I don't know if that was just a random line or what, but he did get hit in the head. He got hit in the head with these heavy potatoes. So I mean, that would knock you out.
True.
And so he puts them in a garbage bag,
Just like the first movie.
yes, and steals them and takes them in his car.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Treasury Department guy and the McClellands go chasing after him, and Munchie wakes up in the back seat and he's like making the car do all crazy shit, and it gets in a big wreck and everything, and the cops end up arresting him, and then the car explodes, and we don't know where Munchie is. So
He got out of the car during the car chase. He like made himself disappear.
yeah, but the poor kid didn't know this and just basically
Oh, right. No, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, I know what you mean now. Yeah. That's right. He didn't. So he's like Munchie.
So yeah.
Oh my God.
So then what happens?
So then the guy is like the government guy is like, he'll be all right. He was like if he's anything like my friend, then he'd get. It's like I want to know so badly now. This movie like gives you like little nuggets of something, but then like they don't like if like you don't get any knowledge about it after. So like okay, so now we've established that Munchie has like all kinds of weird powers that we didn't know he had, but they're only selectively applied. So that's another interest. So is it because he's got a power level where he can't use all his power at once because he like depletes himself, so he has to like pick and choose like when to like use his full form or not. And then this guy's saying that he had like his own version of Munchie. Is this the same race as the other Munchies? Because we were told that all the other Munchies died. He was the only one left. So, or is this like a cousin race that's somewhat similar genetically to the Munchies? But you know, you got to ask these questions, Mike. These are the important questions that the Munchie universe. Like we call ourselves the Munchers. So sorry, that sounds bad. That's our fan club. Super fans call ourselves Munchers.
I will tell you, his name makes more sense in this movie than the first movie. Because in this movie, he's like always hungry.
Yes, he is. He's always wanting to eat something. Which again, why can't he just steal it from somewhere and then give it to himself like he did in the first movie with the pizza slice? But so the car explodes. Can I go to my theory? I've been dying to go to my theory. Can I go?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, sorry. There was one last scene where he gets shot back up into heaven, and what's his new assignment that he's given?
Oh yeah, basically at the end Munchie, we think Munchie's gone, but he appears on the kid's TV in his bedroom and tells him goodbye and stuff, and then he gets shot back up into heaven, and we see that one of the people on the council we didn't see before was actually Chris's dad, his dead dad up in heaven. So yeah.
Wow. That was awesome.
In the weirdest fucking scene ever, he's like looking right at the camera, and like he looks like he's like, you know, like one of the children of the damned or something. He's just like
I know. It's so like jarring. But
then you know, the people up there decide, hey, you know, he can go back and help other people. There's somebody else that needs help, and Kronos gives him a picture of the next person he's supposed to help, and it's Bill Clinton, who was the current president at the time. So,
which I don't really understand because this was pre-scandal Bill Clinton. This was before the Monica Lewinsky thing, so it's not like what was the scandal.
I don't think there really was a scandal. I think it just might be like, oh, your next assignment is that you have to help the president.
Like, I guess that was like just supposed to be some funny or whatever, some funny thing they did. Yeah. Okay, so here's my theory. I've been dying to talk about it because I think it ties everything in the MCU. All right, so we got Carlisle. Same actor, but he played a different character in the first movie, right? Similar personality traits, different professions, but pretty much the same type of person. In the first movie, he breaks and enters. He gets assaulted by Munchie for doing so. This movie, he breaks and enters, gets harassed or assaulted by Munchie as revenge.
Mm-hmm.
First, both movies, he catches Munchie and puts him in. I think the first one was a treasure chest, and this one is the garbage bank.
No. He
And-
put him in a garbage bag in both of them.
Okay, all right, cool. So both times he's the first person to acknowledge, like everyone else, like when they would see something like a creature like that, they would like just positively freak out and recoil. He actively lunged towards Munchie at the end of the first one. Like he just immediately went into like acceptance mode. Like, oh, this thing lives with us on Earth. I'm totally fine with that. This is my new reality now. And he tried to capture him so that he could use his power for himself. Both movies, both end in the car chase, both not an explosion, I think, in the first one. But here's the big one. At the end of the first Munchie, he gets sent to a psychiatric ward and he has to live there. So I'm starting to thinking, is this whole thing in Carlisle's head? Is he just replaying the Munchie movie, but instead he rewrites himself into a different character with similar personality traits? Or if you want to go for a double theory, what if this whole thing didn't exist at all and he was already a psychiatric patient and he just his mind came up with the whole Munchie verse on its own? So all of this could just be in the mind of Carlisle or whatever his name was in the first movie.
Maybe it's all inside the head of Andrew Stevens, the actor.
It could be. Yes. We'll do like a meta thing. We'll go with triple. Yeah. We're gonna triple on this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my god, dude. It's just like,
So yeah, that's the end of the movie.
yeah.
And so on Wikipedia here, they got a little section about the critical response to this movie.
Yeah.
I wanted to read it because I find some interesting here. Okay, reviewers generally found the movie a poor sequel to Munchie. TV Guide offered that Munchie Strikes Back turns an annoying, no-budget children's movie into an annoying, no-budget children's series. And in considering the film's attempts at humor, wrote, the film is sort of ill-considered comedy in which a little league team can be named the Hillside Stranglers and big laughs are expected as well from the sight of a woman kicking a dog.
Oh
which
yeah.
is another thing
Forgot
happened.
about that part. Yeah. Animal abuse. Yeah.
Yeah, X Entertainment was only slightly less harsh with its review, saying the series saw its last hurrah in a movie we're reviewing today. 1992's Munchie, or 1994, I should say 1994, Munchie Strike Back. Assuming that at least some of you have seen Munchies, throw away everything you think about the lore. The last two films were entirely different, strictly for kids. Which the first one is actually a horror movie, so I don't know what they're talking about. It's for this reason that I'm having trouble calling this pile of shit a pile of shit.
Wow. Yeah.
Putting myself in the mindset of a 7-year-old, it's not too terrible. Can't really recommend it as fodder for your bad movie nights. Stick with the original for those. But if you ever wanted 80 minutes worth of Howard Hessman voicing the poor man's elf, Munchie Strikes Back caters to your unique, pitiful whim. John Stanley gave the film 1.5 stars, denouncing it as watered down kiddie fantasy from Roger Corman Factory. So yeah, that's all. It's totally like this movie. It's like I still don't understand how. I don't know who created. I need to look into it sometime, but I'm not going to now. Who created this fucking puppet that was Munchie?
I don't know, man. Like, it's scary. It's terrifying.
This is the era. I mean, even Mac from Mac and Me is cuter than this fucking thing.
Yes. No, he is. Was that the one where it was like basically like one long Coke commercial, or is that a different one?
It was a Coke and Sears
Pepsi.
and McDonald's commercial where Ronald McClelland was actually in the movie.
Yeah, and then like at the end, that's right, because you told me at the end of that movie or near the end where the store explodes, you said the original they shot him or something.
Yeah.
Or they're like, no, we can't do that. We probably can't have him get shot.
Yeah. Oh boy. That was the poor man's the Temu ET.
Yeah, the Temu. Yeah.
This is
my God.
This is like this movie franchise is like Gremlins and E.T.
Mutation,
had a baby while they were both high on meth. But
Hang on. It's just like,
I don't know. So
There you
anyways,
go.
any other thoughts here about Munchie Strikes Back?
oh, no, I want to just forget about this movie.
Yeah. I'd really like to erase this movie from my memory, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to. It's one of those like I wake up every day, thinking, oh wait, life is good. Oh wait, no, Donald Trump is president. This is one of these things where I think I'll wake up every day and think, oh, life is good. Oh no, wait, Munchie exists.
Munchie exists.
Yeah. So yes. Anyways, folks, hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to check out all2reeltoo.com. We got links to all of our social media that we have on there. We're on Blue Sky and Instagram and Facebook. We still have pages on there. Stuff like that. Check it out. All2reeltoo.com. Check out our TeePublic on there. Check out our Patreon. And give us a couple bucks if you can. Help us out. We don't get paid really anything for this show. So if you want us to keep doing it, help us out if you can. If you can't do that, on those social media platforms, share the show. If you like the episode, share it. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or Spotify or wherever you can. And just so you know, subscribe to us anywhere you can, including YouTube. We do have a YouTube. It's just the episode's audio there, but still, it's a YouTube. And, do it up, folks. Just remember that you can find the show on Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere you can find your fine podcasts, including where you're listening to it right now. But anywhere you're listening to it, you can subscribe. Do that. Subscribe. Did I say subscribe?
Yeah.
Just remember, folks, that I love you. Munchie is a nightmare.
Yes.
Sesame loves you.
Yeah, I do.
Trans lives are human lives.
True.
No human is illegal.
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter. Free Palestine. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All2ReelToo podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.